This is to put a player into the Premier League Hall of Fame from every nation that's been represented. Now, we've done one or two of these. Let me tell you, you have got off lightly because today you have got the turn of Argentina. Firstly, let me give you one or two of the players that haven't made the shortlist. I'm going to give you 4 players in a moment for you to pick who you think is the greatest Argentinian Premier League player ever. We will put this out on Twitter for a vote. Here are one or two of the players that haven't made the list. So there have been 79 players who played in the Premier League or represented Premier League teams from Argentina. One or two notable absences. Andres D'Alessandro, I think I'm saying that right. He was brilliant on Football Manager back in the day. Pretty handy for Portsmouth as well, scoring 1 goal in 13 appearances in 05-06. Angel Di Maria, one of those kind of Real Madrid alumni, the 4th most capped Argentinian of all time, by the way. Didn't quite reach the heights of his La Liga days, though, in 27 games for Man United. Esteban Cambiaso, who helped keep Leicester up and then disappeared for the title-winning season. Juan Sebastian Veron, one of those kind of stardust players, wasn't he, who came to the Premier League, didn't quite work out.
Obviously, he had 2 bites at the cherry as well, didn't he? Because he had Chelsea as well as United. But I think he's one of those where if you watch him back, he probably wasn't as bad as we will think. But I think because he came with such a reputation that he just probably didn't quite meet that. But I think he was still probably a good player, if not brilliant.
And doing a bit of research for this, apparently Juan Sebastian Veron dreamed of playing for Sheffield United as a child because his uncle Pedro Verde did. So that was his boyhood team, Sheffield United. So again, Juan Sebastian Veron down at Bramall Lane didn't quite happen. and Fabrizio Colaccini, Federico Fernandez, Jonas Gutierrez, Julio Alca, all of whom Argentinians who made more than 100 appearances in the Premier League, most of which in the famously Argentinian climate of the northeast. But here are the 4 players I put to you are the greatest Argentinians to play in the Premier League. See who you think is the best. So first on the shortlist, Pablo Zabaleta, the Argentinian with more appearances in the Premier League than any other at 303. He joined Man City in 2008, won 2 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 2 League Cups and a Community Shield before joining West Ham, where he's made a further 80 appearances before retiring. Your second option, Carlos Tevez, the man who controversially signed for West Ham alongside compatriot Javier Mascherano in 06-07 and fired the hammers to safety. He'd later play on both sides of the Manchester divide, winning the title twice with United, once with City. We'd also win a Golden Boot. Javier Mascherano, just mentioned him, joined with Tevez at West Ham, spent 5 seasons at Liverpool, where he was a Champions League runner-up in 2007. Could be argued maybe his best days were in the Liga when he went to Barcelona, where he won 18 trophies in 9 seasons, which is, let's face it, ridiculous. And was nominated for the Ballon d'Or by Roy Hodgson, famously. I don't know if you've heard that story, but Roy Hodgson's picks in 2015, he had Cristiano Ronaldo, he had Messi, he had everyone to choose from, and Roy Hodgson put Javier Mascherano forward for the Ballon d'Or, so fair enough.
That's so Roy Hodgson.
And the final one, we touched on him during the show, Sergio Aguero, a man whose name is almost impossible to say without impersonating Martin Tyler, on his way to an injury time winner that would, for the game that you've taken to your deserted island, the injury time winner that would seal the first of 5 Premier League title wins. There's also a Golden Boot in there. He scored 184 goals in 275 appearances, making him the 5th top Premier League goal scorer of all time. So, Harvey, who out of those, we've got Zabaleta, Tevez, Mascherano, Aguero, who are you putting into the When Football Began Again League of Nations Hall of Fame?
It depends how you define greatness, because I think in terms of best, it's probably Aguero. But Tevez is just such an entertainer, and everything that goes around him, it would probably add a bit of drama to the squad and for the fans. But I think if I'm answering the question honestly, it has to be Aguero.
I think it's hard to argue against that, really. I think, Tevez was a divisive figure. I mean, we talked about sort of Dion Dublin going between Coventry and Villa. I mean, Tevez going between the Manchester divide, winning the league on both sides of it. Do you remember those adverts, the big billboards?
Noisy neighbours.
Exactly. I wonder how fondly he's best remembered on the red side of Manchester. Probably not so much.
No, but I think he just seems like a character that just doesn't care. I don't think he'd care if any club's fans liked him, to be honest. He just seemed as though he just had fun himself, and he played football like you'd imagine a toddler playing football. He would just run around, and like he was really good, but he was just all action, wasn't he? And it just, I really loved watching him play, probably more than any of the other players on that list. But if I was a manager, I'm probably picking Aguero. But if I'm a fan, Tevez all day long.
And you've touched on it a bit there with Aguero, an absolute born goal scorer. He was in the right place at the right time so often, and scoring important goals. And also, he was ruthless. There's 1 or 2 games, I think, in there where he gets 4 or 5 in a game. What a striker.
He's probably the person in the world that must be most annoyed that Haaland went to Man City, because he's looking at it like, you've just undermined everything I've done for the last 10 years. He made it look as though anyone could have done this. But yeah, no, as you say, he was just consistently good and just scored. But then they weren't all like tap-ins. Equally, they weren't all like 30-yard screamers, but they were goals that you think he put it down to his movement or just very good finishes. But yeah, he's definitely up there.